All right, how's it going, Algebra 1? So I know we gave this Cami to you yesterday, but we never gave you the key. So this is what we're doing today. I'm going to give you the answer key. We're going to go over each question one at a time. So if you ever got caught up on one of the questions and couldn't figure out how to do it, here it is. So for the first couple, we're going to be factoring, just straight factoring. So if I look at number 1, 40x plus 50, I notice that both of them don't have an x. Only one of them does. So that leads me to think, okay, what's the largest number that can go into both of them? Here I notice that a 10 can go into both of them. 10 times what is 40? That's 4. There's still an x there. And then 10 times what is 50? That's a positive 5. So that's the factored form of number 1. Number 2, I have negative 49n squared plus 56. I look at both of them and I ask myself, what's the largest number that can go into both? That would be 7. And again, how am I getting these numbers? It just is a matter of kind of playing around with it and thinking about it just a little bit. 7 can go into both of these numbers. This is the largest number that can go into both of them. So 7 times what is negative 49? That's a negative 7. How did I figure that out? Take negative 49, divide it by 7. You get negative 7. And I have n squared there. It's supposed to be a squared. There we go. 7 times what is positive 56? That's a positive 8. So that's number 1 and number 2 done. Now I'm going to look at number 3, negative 14x plus 6. What's the largest number that can go into both? Here, after playing around with it a little bit, you'll see that the largest number is 2. So 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. I still have an x in there. 2 times a positive 3 will get you positive 6. So that's factored form there. Number 4, 20 minus 8x. Largest number that can go into both is 4. And I'm left with 5 minus 2x. And that's factored form for number 4. Again, for those first 4, we're just looking at what's the largest number that can go into both. For number 5, we need to look at both maybe a number and maybe a variable. I know both of them have an a, so I can at least factor an a out. Can I factor out a number? Is there a common number between 7 and 5? And the answer is no. So when I factor an a, I have one a outside of the parentheses. That means from the 7 and the 5, I need to take an a away. So I have 7a plus 5 left in the parentheses. When I look at number 6, 2k squared plus 9k, again, I notice that both of them have a k, so I can at least factor a k out. Now I ask myself, okay, is there a common number between 2 and 9? The answer is no. So we're left with 2k plus 9. Again, since I factored a k out, I need to take away 1k from each term. Now we look at number 7, negative 21n plus 3. Do both of them have a variable? No, they don't. Do both of them have a common number? Yes, they do. The largest number that can go into both negative 21 and positive 3 is 3. When I factor a 3 out of 21, take negative 21 divided by 3, you'll get negative 7. And we still have an n in there. And then 3 times a positive 1 gets you positive 3. And that's number 7. Number 8, I look at negative 50p minus 30. Here you might get a little bit stumped. I can actually factor out a negative number. Why a negative number? Because both of the terms in there are negative. So in fact, I'm going to factor out a negative 10. 10 is the largest number between 50 and 30 that can go into both. Negative 10 times what is negative 50? Take negative 50 divided by negative 10, you get positive 5. And we still have that p in there. And then negative 10 times a positive 3 gets you negative 30. Remember, negative times a positive is always a negative. Number 9, negative 2a minus 18. Both of them don't have a variable. So I look at numbers. Both of them are negative. So I can at least put a minus sign out there. Now I look at 2 and 18. What's the largest number that can go into both? It's 2. So 2 times 1, so you can put a 1 there if you wish. That 1 is not necessary, but you can put it in there if it makes you feel better. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2a. Negative 2 times what gets you negative 18? That's a positive 9. Now I look at number 10. I've got 6x to the 4th and 3x squared. Remember, that 4 and that 2, they represent how many x's are there. So here I've got 4 x's and 6x to the 4th, and I've got 2 x's and 3x squared. I can look and see, I can factor out 2 of those x's because both of them have at least 2 x's, right? Now I look at numbers. Between 6 and 3, is there a number that they share? Yep, it's 3. So I can factor out 3x squared. Now we start looking at what is left in the parentheses. So we've got x to the 4th up top. I factored out x squared. If I've got 4 x's and 6x to the 4th, and I factored out 2 of them, how many are left in the parentheses? 2. So I have an x squared there. Now 3 times what is 6? That's 2. Now I look at 3x squared and 3x squared. 3x squared times 1 is 3x squared. So that is number 10. Number 10 is the trickiest factoring one that we've had so far. Let's scroll down here. We got number 11 and number 12, and those are our last factoring ones. So we got negative 49x squared plus 7. Both of those terms don't have an x, so now I look at numbers. Do they have a common number? Yes. I'm going to factor out a positive 7. Why positive instead of negative? I'm choosing positive 7 because not all of my numbers are negative. Only the 49 is negative. So that's why I'm factoring out positive 7. So I look at negative 49 and positive 7. 7 times what is negative 49? That's negative 7. I didn't factor out any x's, so I've got x squared left in there. 7 times what is positive 7? That's a positive 1. We look at number 12 now. Got to keep an eyeball on time. I got another class coming in soon. Okay. Excuse me. Pardon me. I just had lunch. I apologize. I'm a little bit burpy. All right, number 12. Negative 10 into the 4th plus 100. Not all of them have an n, so I'm looking at common numbers now. 10 and 100, I know a 10 can go into both of them. Now, when I start factoring, I have a 1 into the 4th in there, specifically a negative 1 into the 4th. Again, that 1 is not necessary, but you do need to have the negative sign in there. So negative 1 into the 4th plus 10. 10 times 10 is 100. Now that takes us to number 13 through 20. We want to simplify. Your answer should contain only positive exponents. So for number 13, we've got x to the 3rd times x to the 3rd. So remember, this 3 and this 3 represent how many x's I have. So for this guy, I'm going to underline it in red or put a red dot by it. I've got x times x times x. I'll use purple for this guy. Here I've got 3 more x's. How many x's do I have total? I have 6. So x to the 6th. That's simplified. Number 14, negative 3n times negative n. Negative 3 times a negative 1 is a positive 3. I've got 1 n over here and another n over there. N times n, I've got 2 n's total. So n squared. So 3n squared is my answer for number 14. Number 15, multiply the numbers first. 4m to the 4th times negative 2n, like I said. Multiply the numbers first. 4 times negative 2, that gets you negative 8. M to the 4th and m. I've got 4 m's over on the left. I've got 1 on the right. 4 plus 1 is 5. So I've got 5 m's total. So negative 8 m to the 5th. 16, again, multiply the numbers first. 2 times negative 3, that's a negative 6. How many x's total do you have? 1 on the left, 1 on the right, so I've got 2 total. So 6x squared, specifically negative 6x squared. Number 17, 4 times 2xy. Multiply the numbers. 4 times 2 is 8. And then here, I'm just listing the variables behind, 8xy, and we're done.
Okay.
Number 18, we got 6x times 7y. Again, multiply the numbers together first. 6 times 7 is 42. Use a calculator if you need to use a calculator. Now I have x times y. Just list the variables behind the number. So 42xy. There you go. Number 19, 7t times 3r times 2z. Multiply the numbers first. 7 times 3 times 2. That is 42. Use a calculator. And I'm just going to list the variables as I see them. TRZ. That is totally fine. Number 20, 8x times 5y times 3z. Multiply 8 times 5 times 3. That is 120. And then just list the variables. And that's the end of the answer key. If you've got questions, let one of us know. Otherwise, we're going to leave you to it. Happy studying.